Okay, welcome back. We're making pumpkins. This, I pre-rolled it because it's boring to watch. It's just 2 pieces of pumpkin with a little bit of iridescence pearl. You don't need to do it necessarily. I just like the texture, and when I do jewelry, I think jewelry should be sparkly. Plus, plants usually have a little bit of a sheen to them no matter what. Okay, so do that. And then I'm making little tiny pumpkins, so they're not going to be super big, but I'll do a few quickly just to show. And the fun thing about pumpkins is everyone thinks of them round. They're not really super round. And if you do a bunch of them, they're way cuter if you don't make a bunch of them round. You make tall ones, fat ones, lumpy ones. That's what really makes them fun and engaging. I'm using my nail daughter tool. And let's do the small one first. I don't recommend necessarily doing it dead in the center. You can, but with organic things you really shouldn't. And this, it's a wedge tool. There's also the knife one, which I like better, but I can't find it right now, so we'll just do it with the wedge. And then I usually do 5. You don't have to. You can do even or odd, just because, but odd is slightly better for natural items. And you can see they're not perfect. So we start that out, nice good definition, and then you just kind of walk it all the way down to the base. Just lightly pressing in, since you'll get a nice divide. And a little bit, yeah, see. And don't worry about it being too sharp initially, because you're going to handle it more and it'll go all over the place. It'll soften it the more you handle stuff. So you don't have to worry about that right now. And you don't have to do them all the same depth. You can mix and match. And they shouldn't be too close together. I mean, again, if you want a more perfect pumpkin, that's fine. There are ones that are like that. But I think the really fun part of a pumpkin patch is all the weird random shapes. I don't worry too much about the bottoms, as long as they rest nicely. Because people don't really look out. Especially when I'm doing it as jewelry. Okay. And so, as you can see, I have a lot of additional little markings on this one. And I just take it and lightly drag. And you can wiggle it over a little, give it a little more definition. And again, you don't worry about doing it a little bit deeper, because the more you handle it, it's going to soften it, it's going to distort it, give it a little more of a nice organic look. Alright, so handle it, it's looking nice and nice good texture. Alright, I'll do the other 2. And this one's a lot bigger, so, and it's nice to do it against the flat thing because it gives it a little more pushback at the base. And actually, maybe I'll do this to just cave it in a little bit. Okay. And kind of go under and push up if you want a little more of the rounded. And this one's nice and big, so maybe we can do some extra partitions. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do one there. Nice little selection, and I think I'll do the coloring first and then we'll do the stems. All right. Probably because the coloring is my favorite part. Okay, so honestly pumpkins can be kind of dark, but they're not dark, but they're not as colorful often as you think. There's not as much gradation, but you kind of have to cheat when you do tiny things because it reads better from far away. So you can just pick any colors you really like, but these are just really cheap pastels I bought on sale. They don't have to be anything great, and you just scrape up a bit. The only thing is, at least with the cheap stuff, is the dark stuff, the darker colors show really well, but the lighter you go, it doesn't really seem to have an impact when you're using pastels. So I recommend starting light color in the clay and then working your way darker with the pastels, because the lighter colors just do not get absorbed or show or something. It does not make much of a difference. Alright, getting a little bit of fun there. And for the midway, let's do a little tan. You probably shouldn't change colors like this constantly. I just get excited. And I don't always plan ahead. Plus I wasn't sure if I was just going to show you one and then show the others already done, but it goes pretty fast, so. Sparkle, because again, it's jewelry. Plus, the eyeshadows get picked up a lot better than the pastels. I don't know why, but they do. So I like to use them. This is a specific brand I buy. I haven't tried non-sparkly eyeshadows for this. I pick hers because she is really nice. Unusual sparkles for makeup that really look nice on a lot of my creations, and I can't really find or make anywhere else. So, but if you don't want to spend a lot of money, because these aren't cheap, I recommend just go to Marshall's, TJ Maxx, pick up cheap makeup. It limits the colors, but depending what you're doing, it should work out fine. At least it'll give you a start. See what you think. It's actually cheaper than a cheap pastel set, probably. So that's all of those. And this part doesn't matter because it's going to be dark anyway. So this is just random scrap clay. It's literally just all the crap I just smushed together for colors or whatever that I'm not using. So usually that ends up brown. You can use a real brown if you want, or if you have a favorite brown. It doesn't matter. If you look at the pictures of pumpkins, the stem is actually usually pretty pale, but it doesn't pop nicely. So I do more of a brown one. Plus, everyone thinks they're brown. Actually, I think it might be a little small. Let me see. At least for that one. smaller ones. All right. Yeah, this should be all right. So I use my little daughters here. You can use whatever texture tool you want. I love these things, and they're cheap, so I recommend getting them. And they're not too hard to find. You could probably buy them online or your local beauty supply store. So a little bit of texture, a little bit of a indent there. And let's see. Depending on what you want to do with it, you can just, I usually fold down the stem because I make them for jewelry. But if you're just going to set them up in like a little diorama, you can do whatever you want with the stem. Just be aware of what you plan on doing with it. That's not bad size. So there's some nice texture there. Here, I'll show you what happens when you put light on dark. Let's see if it does anything. I mean, a little bit. It's not the pop that the other one is, but that's fine. Anything to give it a little extra definition. And if you really want to paint the stem part, I'd recommend just doing dry brushing after with paint, if you're really bound and determined to have it. Okay, so as you can see, my little pumpkins, I think they're pretty cute, they're pretty fast, they're a good little practice project. All right, thank you very much, and thank you my followers. I can't believe I have any. I'm very appreciative. Thank you very much. Bye.